I did a previous video in September where I talked about how the new CPF salary ceiling would affect you, and that was when it was a change from $6,000 monthly to $6,300 monthly, because it has not been changed for quite a while, and that has gathered a few reactions. Coming to 2024, so far it's gonna change again, because that was what was announced in the budget 2023, and this time it's gonna be raised from $6,300 to $6,800 monthly, which is an increment of $500. So here in the video, I'll do a quick recap on what is going to happen and how is it going to affect you or not affect you. But before that, if you want to join like-minded people to discuss about CPF matters as well as all this wage stuff, then join us at over 11,000 members at the Honey Money SG Telegram group. So let's give some definition to the wages first, and they can be classified to either ordinary wage (OW) or additional wage (AW). According to the CPF board, for wages to be classified as ordinary wages (OW) for the month, it must satisfy both conditions below. The wages are due or granted wholly or exclusively in respect of an employee's employment during that month, and the wages for that month are payable by 14th of the following month. In other words, and to put it simply, it is of monthly fixed base pay without any bonus or commission. So for example, in your employment contract, it says that you are drawing $3,000 of monthly salary base pay every month. That will be your ordinary wage. How about for additional wage (AW)? According to CPF board, wages which are not classified as ordinary wages will be additional wages for the month. And the formula for AW would be 102,000 minus the OW. And this will usually be like commissions, performance bonuses, variable bonuses, AWS, OT, all these things that are additional income on top of your base pay will be considered AW, additional wage. Anyway, do you know that overtime pay can be classified to either OW or AW? Because according to the definition, as long as your wages are payable by 14th of the calendar month, it will be classified as OW, as in the first example. Where the OT pay is paid by 10, it will be OW. But if the overtime pay is paid on the 30th of the calendar month, then it is beyond the 14th calendar day and it will be classified as additional wages, as in example 2. So you see, this is an interesting segment of the pay that can be classified to either OW or AW. So the annual salary ceiling is at $102,000 unchanged, and the new OW ceiling is $6,800 per month, which also means that if you multiply the $6,800 by 12, there will be $81,600 of OW per year. Since AW equals to $102,000 minus OW, which is $81,600, your lowest AW will be $20,400. Okay, I know all this is getting very mathematical and some of you will be turned off, but I hope you all are not turned off by the good welcome rewards by my sponsor. 2023 is ending soon, and if you still do not have a Webull account yet, here is one of their great features. RSP is where you can dollar cost average your favorite US stocks, ETFs and mutual funds at your own pace. And currently, RSP supports US listed stocks, ETFs and SGD and USD mutual funds. To set up RSP, go to the markets, then RSP, then search your target stock, ETF or fund. For investment amount, you may start from a minimum of 10 Singapore dollars if funded from your bank account, or minimum $5 US from Webull buying power. For frequency, you may choose from every trading day, week, 2 weeks or every month. To modify RSP, go to accounts, then orders, then regular savings plan. Modify the amount or the frequency, or cancel the RSP even if you do not want to continue with it anymore. To learn more about RSP, you can also go to Webull's Learning Center, where it publishes articles like the right time to buy with a regular savings plan. What's more, if you are new to Webull, before you even start investing, you can earn some good welcome rewards to kickstart your investment journey. You just have to fund any amount and maintain funds for 30 days, and you'll receive 10 free shares worth from $30 to $5,000. And there's even a money bull offer where you can get up to $3,000 of cash vouchers when you make a cumulative deposit from $2,000 onwards. Activate money bull and fulfill the requirements to get the cash rewards. So don't miss this offer and get your Webull account using my referral link or scan the QR code right here before the year ends. Brace yourselves, it's going to get even more mathematical, but I'll break it down into more simpler portions for you to digest. So you know the CPF annual salary limit is $102,000, and you know that the total CPF contribution percentage is 37%, 20% from yourself as an employee, 17% from your employer. So 37% multiplied by $102,000, that will be $37,740, which is your maximum CPF mandatory contributions per year. Fun fact, the $37,740 of mandatory CPF contribution is also at the same level for voluntary contributions to 3 account for self-employed persons maximum tax relief. So let this be scenario 1. If you're earning $6,800 and above per month, what is going to be impacted? You see, your AW is $102,000 minus $81,600, which is $20,400. So $20,400, if we divide it by $6,800 of monthly salary, you just need 3 months of bonus payment for you to hit that maximum CPF salary ceiling. Now for scenario 2, what if you are just earning $6,000 per month? So 12 times $6,000 equals to $72,000, and that is the ordinary wage. So your additional wage AW will be $102,000 minus $72,000, which is $30,000, which means $30,000 divided by 6,000, you need 5 months of bonus to hit the CPF salary ceiling. And for scenario 3, if you're earning like $8,000 and above, your OW will be 12 times $8,000, which is $96,000, and $102,000 minus that $96,000, your AW will be just $6,000. And 6,000 divided by 8,000 is 0.75 months. So you don't even need to have 1 month of bonus, and you can already hit that salary ceiling if you're earning a monthly of $8,000 per month. So there's really not much of a big impact unless you are earning between $6,300 to $6,800. Then you will be impacted on the monthly contributions. But otherwise, if the CPF annual salary ceiling does not change at $102,000, the overall compensation does not change. In fact, if you just look at the $500 increment in the monthly salary, 20% employee contributions, which is 20% multiplied by $500, is just $100 more from you, which is deducted from your monthly salary. And then 17% from the employer will be $85, which your employer has to give more to you on a monthly basis. But if we look overall at an annual basis, if you already hit that $102,000 annual salary, then it won't impact you either way. It's just whether you receive it earlier or not. Now, to be super clear, your contribution of $37,740, which is 37% of $102,000, will not be affected by the CPF tax relief if you want to do voluntary contribution to your MediSave, VCMA, or RSTU, retirement sum top-up to your special account. These two have separate CPF tax relief caps, which is a combined cap of $8,000 per year. So it doesn't matter whether you hit the annual CPF contribution cap, you can still do your RSTU or VCMA up to a combined limit of $8,000 per year for your tax relief. So this is already my second CPF salary ceiling increment video, which I'll make a new one maybe closing to 2024 to 2025 end of year period, because I know some of you will really panic, and when you all look at the news, you all would think it's a new implementation, but no, it has already been announced since budget 2023. So it may not be as great of a deal as you think until they raise the CPF annual salary ceiling from $102,000 to maybe some more. Then I think that's where the great deal is, and I have to share that in another video when it comes. So if you are still confused about all this CPF stuff, I do have a playlist of CPF videos which you can refer to and take your time to watch all of them to learn more about the CPF.